Imagine this familiar scenario. You're always ready to help. You listen with sincerity, and you willingly sacrifice your time and energy to support those around you. At first, you feel happy knowing that others rely on you and find comfort in your kindness. But over time, you start to notice that your efforts are sometimes overlooked or even taken for granted. Your kindness becomes an expectation, leaving you wondering, where did I go wrong? Is compassion always a good thing? This is not an uncommon story. In fact, it reflects the paradox of compassion, a quality that is celebrated, praised, and encouraged can sometimes lead to misunderstanding, exploitation, or even harm. Is it possible for compassion to become too much? And what happens when kindness crosses the line of balance? Zen and Buddhist teachings offer a profound perspective on this issue. In Buddhist philosophy, compassion is not merely an emotion or a spontaneous act, it is a state of mind guided by mindfulness and wisdom. Compassion, when unbalanced, can become a burden not just for the person practicing it, but also for the recipient. On the other hand, when practiced with clarity and discernment, compassion not only fosters genuine connections with others, but also nurtures inner harmony within ourselves. But how can we distinguish between authentic compassion and excessive kindness? How do we set boundaries without feeling guilty? These questions bring us to the heart of the matter. Compassion is not only a gift to others, but also a practice of self-love and self-respect. It is a journey of finding balance between the softness of the heart and the strength of the mind. Let us delve deeper into how Zen teachings can help us transform compassion into a true source of strength, rather than a cause of hurt and exhaustion. Part 1: The nature of kindness. Kindness, in both ancient and modern contexts, has always been celebrated as a sacred virtue. The familiar saying, "Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a battle you cannot see," highlights the value of kindness in fostering deep human connections. However, kindness is not always met with gratitude or respect. This paradox raises questions: can kindness be misunderstood or exploited? And if so, why does this happen? Buddhist philosophy offers profound insights into this issue. Even the Buddha, a symbol of infinite compassion, was not immune to misunderstandings and criticisms. This did not occur because he lacked wisdom or mindfulness, but because kindness, when unbalanced or misdirected, can easily become a target for exploitation. Therefore, the Buddha's teachings emphasize that kindness must be accompanied by wisdom. Wisdom not only guides acts of compassion, but also shields the giver from excessive harm or loss. One of the most crucial aspects of kindness is the ability to recognize personal boundaries. A genuinely kind person helps others while also protecting themselves. This principle is reflected in the foundational Buddhist teaching: kindness should never be practiced at the expense of one's own well-being. This balance implies that kindness is not blind endurance or self-sacrifice to please others. Instead, it is a conscious act of giving that nurtures both the receiver and the giver. Imbalances in kindness can lead to serious consequences. A person who is always ready to help without recognizing their own limits often risks being perceived as weak. In relationships, unconditional kindness can be misunderstood as dependence or a lack of self-respect. In professional settings, excessive compassion sometimes undermines leadership when managers prioritize pleasing others over fulfilling their core responsibilities. Buddhism provides a crucial lesson: kindness must be practiced with self-awareness and mindfulness. Only when you understand your own boundaries can you extend kindness without harm. This requires the courage to set limits and the skill to express them gracefully. True acts of kindness do not always gain immediate recognition, but they bring lasting value to both the giver and the receiver. In modern life, the balance between kindness and wisdom applies across many areas. A person who helps others while maintaining self-respect not only safeguards their well-being but also creates a lasting positive impact within their community. It is this harmony of compassion and clarity that transforms kindness from a burden into a source of strength. Part 2: The Tale of the River and the Forest. The story of the river and the forest carries a profound lesson about the necessity of setting boundaries in kindness and generosity. The river, with its boundless goodwill, gave life and refreshment to all who needed it. Yet, this unconditional generosity led to exploitation. Animals muddied its waters, travelers littered its banks, and the trees' roots drained its resources. As the river became depleted, it lamented, "Why do you treat me this way when I have given you life?" The forest's response, "Because you have no boundaries. We assumed you didn't mind," reveals an essential truth: without clear boundaries, generosity can easily be taken for granted. Kindness unprotected by boundaries not only depletes the giver's resources but also diminishes the value of their efforts when the recipients cease to appreciate them. This story reflects real-life situations. Someone who is always willing to help without setting limits often becomes a target for exploitation. In a family, a mother who sacrifices everything for her children without prioritizing her well-being may unintentionally teach her children to take her sacrifices for granted. Similarly, in the workplace, an employee who accepts every additional responsibility without knowing how to decline may find themselves overburdened and burned out. The confusion between kindness and weakness often arises from a lack of clear boundaries. However, setting boundaries is not selfish, it is a way to protect self-respect and inner strength. A river with boundaries, such as measures to prevent pollution or control its flow, maintains its purity and ensures it can sustain the forest over the long term. Boundaries, when established consciously, do not diminish kindness. On the contrary, they ensure that compassion is practiced sustainably. The essence of kindness lies not in relentless giving but in thoughtful, mindful acts of generosity. An act of kindness accompanied by self-preservation uplifts the recipient while empowering the giver to maintain their strength and balance. The lesson from the river and the forest extends beyond the importance of boundaries to how we perceive the value of kindness. By setting clear limits, we not only protect ourselves from exploitation but also teach others to appreciate our generosity. Kindness, shaped by wisdom and self-respect, becomes a source of strength rather than vulnerability. In life, setting boundaries is not just a skill but a reflection of self-worth. It allows us to continue giving without losing ourselves in the process. A river with boundaries can still nurture the entire forest while preserving its purity and vitality. In this balance lies the true value of kindness. Part 3: Misunderstandings of kindness. Kindness, despite being universally valued, is often misunderstood and misinterpreted, especially in relationships, workplaces, and communities. This misunderstanding stems from the human tendency to equate silence with weakness and generosity with dependence. Those who are overly accommodating or selfless often find themselves labeled as submissive or lacking strength. This perception is not a reflection of the flaw in kindness itself, but rather in how society interprets and responds to it. The Zen teaching, when helping others, do not lose yourself, encapsulates a profound truth about the practice of true kindness. Genuine kindness does not require sacrificing one's identity, well-being, or self-respect. When acts of generosity come at the expense of the giver's spirit, they shift from being acts of compassion to acts of imbalance. Such imbalance not only harms the individual but also distorts the essence of kindness, turning it into a burden rather than a virtue. In many relationships, a person who consistently prioritizes the needs of others over their own may be taken for granted. Over time, this dynamic can foster dependency and entitlement in the recipient, while leaving the giver feeling drained and unappreciated. Similarly, In workplaces, an employee who never says no to additional tasks may be viewed as a convenient resource rather than a respected colleague. The absence of boundaries in their kindness allows others to overlook their contributions and exploit their goodwill. This imbalance is not true kindness. True kindness uplifts both the giver and the receiver, creating mutual respect and appreciation. It is an act rooted in strength, self-awareness, and the understanding that one's needs are as important as those of others. By maintaining self-respect, the giver sets an example for others to value their generosity without taking it for granted. The misunderstanding of kindness also arises from a societal norm that often glorifies self-sacrifice as the highest form of compassion. While there is value in altruism, unchecked self-sacrifice erodes the very foundation of kindness. A depleted spirit cannot sustain acts of compassion indefinitely, and over time, such a pattern can lead to resentment and burnout. It becomes clear that kindness must be paired with balance and boundaries to remain meaningful and sustainable. The practice of true kindness involves more than just actions. It requires discernment and mindfulness. Before helping others, one must reflect on the motivation behind the act. Is it coming from a place of genuine care? Or is it driven by a desire for approval or fear of rejection? This level of self-awareness ensures that kindness remains an empowering force rather than an act of compliance. Furthermore, setting boundaries is essential in preserving the integrity of kindness. A person who practices kindness with clear boundaries teaches others to respect their time, energy, and resources. Boundaries do not diminish kindness. They enhance it by ensuring that the giver remains whole and capable of continuing to contribute meaningfully. In essence, kindness is not about losing oneself to the needs of others. It is about finding a balance that nurtures both the giver and the receiver. True kindness is an act of strength, guided by wisdom and self-respect. It transforms relationships and interactions into spaces of mutual care and appreciation, fostering a deeper and more sustainable form of compassion. By rejecting the notion of kindness as submission and embracing it as an expression of balanced generosity, we honor its true essence and unlock its profound potential to enrich both our lives and the lives of others. Part 4: Zen Teachings on Balance. Buddhist philosophy emphasizes balance, prominently illustrated through the concept of yin and yang, two opposing yet complementary forces that together create harmony. In this context, kindness is likened to yin, gentle and nurturing, offering solace and support. However, for kindness to achieve its full value, it must be balanced by yang, the strength to establish boundaries and maintain firmness. The core lesson of Zen practice extends beyond encouraging kindness to cultivating mindfulness in every action. True compassion does not arise from aimless giving or a desire for recognition. Instead, it is deliberate and thoughtful. Before acting, Buddhism urges practitioners to ask themselves two critical questions: is this action coming from strength or a need for approval, and will this empower others or enable irresponsibility? These self-reflective questions allow one to deeply evaluate the motivations and impacts of their compassion. Actions stemming from inner strength benefit both the giver and the receiver while safeguarding the giver from exhaustion or exploitation. Conversely, actions driven by the need for acknowledgement can lead to imbalance, diminishing the true essence of kindness. Discernment plays a central role in maintaining the balance between generosity and self-preservation. When you pause to consider whether your actions will uplift others or unintentionally encourage irresponsibility, you practice kindness with intention. This ensures that your compassion does not merely offer temporary aid but fosters sustainable growth for both parties. A vivid example of the importance of this balance can be seen in parenting. A parent with unconditional love might fulfill every need of their child, but without clear boundaries, excessive indulgence may lead to dependency and irresponsibility. In contrast, Love paired with guidance and boundaries helps children develop independence, responsibility, and gratitude. In social contexts, balanced compassion also stands out in interpersonal relationships. A compassionate leader who listens and supports their team while maintaining clear expectations not only fosters collective growth but also preserves mutual respect and trust. This demonstrates that kindness does not exclude strength; instead, it integrates and complements it, creating harmony. Zen teachings emphasize that true kindness is not a fleeting act but a sustainable way of living rooted in mindfulness. When you act with awareness, your kindness becomes a source of strength not only for others but also for yourself. The balance between yin and yang, gentleness and strength, transforms kindness into a powerful tool for creating meaningful, lasting change in the lives of both the giver and the receiver. Part 5. Lessons and Actionable Steps. 1. Reflect before acting. Pause before offering help. Consider whether your kindness is genuine or driven by fear of rejection. Mindful reflection ensures balanced actions. 2. Set boundaries with love. Boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges to mutual respect. Practice saying no with kindness, understanding that self-care is essential. 3. Practice compassion without attachment. Let go of the need for recognition. True kindness is an offering, not a transaction. 4. Balance giving and receiving. Nurture yourself as you nurture others. A depleted spirit cannot sustain compassion. 5. Embody softness and strength. Cultivate a balance between gentleness and firmness. Kindness should flow like water, gentle yet powerful. Conclusion: the true power of kindness. The disciples' journey teaches us that kindness, when rooted in wisdom, transforms into a source of strength. Boundaries, mindfulness, and self-awareness are essential to sustaining compassion. As the Zen master said, "A tree that bends with the wind does not break, but a tree that bends too much loses its roots." Let your kindness bend with the world, but never lose the roots of self-respect and wisdom. In this balance lies the true power of compassion. By embracing these teachings, we create harmony within ourselves and inspire it in others. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share your thoughts below, and let us know what you'd like to explore next. See you in the next video.